All right, what's up, guys? Happy Thursday. Welcome to today's market check. Let's get straight into it. Well, gold has moved remarkably remarkably volatile. Okay, we had this accumulation model, didn't get confirmed. It's like a semi-neutral context because we were bearish on the lower time frame but bullish on the higher. We actually front ran our range high here. Funnily enough, we've bounced off this level quite interestingly. However, this can be viewed as somewhat of a demand POI. Like so. And you can technically, you can view this as a tab 1, tab 2. This tab 2 and 3 can be a higher time frame tab 2, and then your higher time frame tab 3 and extended tap. But I do not like the fact that we've come up so high and grabbed every possible look. Oh, actually, we may have even completed the, yeah. Apologies on this, actually. This range is complete. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Range complete. Range complete, so we are no longer interested in this in this range for gold. Let's remove this. Let's just look at what the market structure is doing for now. So we're bullish on the hourly. Have a feeling, yep. Boom, boom, boom. Bullish on the hour. Maybe even bullish on the 2. Bullish on the 2. Technically, we're still bearish on the 3. Just because there's only one bullish candle here. Oh, yeah. We're technically bullish. What am I saying? Yeah, and then we're bullish on the 2 as well, because as much as this wicked at first, yeah, this third candle closed bullish. Okay, so the hourly and the 2 are both bullish. The 4 hour, however, is, yeah, still bullish. Let me grab my... Yeah, so bullish on the 4 hour. So yeah, pretty bullish across the whole board here. And obviously we've got this range to look at, but given we are bullish, I would wait and see if we can deviate this low. And then obviously we can focus on this new range like that. So I do prefer, I do prefer this range forming where we sweep this liquidity, come back up, create that nice buy side liquidity curve, and then break structure and move up. So that would be ideal. That is the ideal situation for gold, but obviously only time will tell. But yeah, we're pretty bullish at the moment, so just be mindful of that. In terms of any other POIs, I wouldn't really use this. I'll double check it on a lower time frame, just see if it is valid. Okay, valid structured demand POI, nice. So yeah, so for gold at the moment, I'll be paying attention to pullbacks in here and see what happens. But locally, not really a whole lot. As I've said, this would have been our range, but this high has grabbed this. Yeah, with gold, just be patient, guys. Not a whole lot to do at the moment. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Let's have a look at silver. And yeah, and also just keep in mind, once again, crucial bit of information here is that this range could be really nice at play because there's already been an accumulation here. And depending on how we deviate, yeah, honestly, now that I look at it, as a matter of fact, I would be putting more emphasis on this range. As a proper high time frame accumulation model like that. Boom. So yeah, let's just see what happens here and be patient. Boom. Okay. Silver. Not really liking the price action here. I would not be looking to accumulate anymore. We're leaving some nice sell side liquidity, which kind of does favor a move down. Sweep this and potentially create that high time frame accumulation. And this is obviously our POI for as far as we can let this range run before it becomes invalid due to time duration. So yeah, for now I'm kind of just cruising at the moment with this range. There's some choppy price action, as you can see. So there's not a whole lot I really want to do just yet. In terms of the context, we were bearish. We have broken to bullish, yet to break to bearish, so we're still bullish on the hour. Still bearish on the 3 hour for now. Yeah, so we're bullish on the hourly, bearish on the 3. Probably bearish on the 4 still, yeah. Yeah, overall fairly bearish, so outside of the weekly and the hourly, which are bullish, everything in between is fairly bearish. So yeah, I would expect us to go lower. As I've said, aim here is we slowly pull into this liquidity POI to sweep it, mitigate demand, and then we can get a nice break of structure. Boom. Like a sell to buy on New York, ideally, and then that confirms our third tap, which is also before our time limit or duration limit. And yeah, this is still a valid model to take should we get confirmations later down the track. But for now, just be patient. Not a whole lot that can be done for oil. For silver, my apologies. For oil, I'm seeing some type of price action, some distributive price action. Okay, well, obviously the hourly for now is bullish, so that remains as is. The 4 hour has that converted to no. Okay, still bearish all up. In terms of the price action here, here is our liquidity. Hasn't been swept yet. We've just swept liquidity, so we can favor we can favor a model 2 here. and we are still bullish on the daily. Let's have a look where I have a feeling Asia low could be range low here. Yeah, beautiful sweep of liquidity. Really, really lovely. Asia low, range low, perfect. So this is already looking like a good range to target. Asia low. Lovely. Yeah, valid supply POI. Let's see if it's valid on the lower time frame. Yeah, it's not the cleanest, but it is a POI. In terms of extreme liquidity, this is as good as it really gets for now. So yeah, if we get confirmations, I'm very much willing to take a short here on oil. I do want a nice return to zone. I think this does look a lot more like my broker. But obviously Forex.com is quite valid. Yeah. Yeah, we get the gist. So yes, that's kind of like my extreme liquidity POI and my broker. But yeah, regardless for this pair, I do want some decent return to zone. To them pulling into that third tap POI. At the moment, there's no real return to zone, so I'm going to want to see price start doing some of this beforehand, and that will really confirm the trade for me. Very happy with something like that, but obviously we need to get that. So yeah, so far our main attention for today is on oil. There's also no real demand, as you can see. It's nothing really special here. Like, you can't have this, but it's quite low time frame. So yeah, there's just not a whole lot going on here. Well, our volume profile does not show at the moment. Okay, it is what it is. But yeah, we still need a return to zone moving up into this third tap. So we'll see what happens. Okay, that is it for commodities. Let's move on to Forex pairs. Well, the USD has kind of done a model one, essentially, which you can kind of use it's not the best, it's not really the cleanest. Did you ever have an entry? Yeah, so there's no real entry here, so you could have actually entered here if you're patient enough. With your tap 1, like off high, tap 2 and tap 3. There is your model. And yeah, pair is still very much so bullish. Very, very much so bullish. In terms of a retracement leg, which we might get one. Let's have a look. What can we see? I have a feeling this has been mitigated on the lower time frame, but we'll obviously validate this. We've taken out Asia high. We have somewhat of a supply POI here. We'll obviously validate this on the lower time frame as well. Okay, so this kind of has been to an extent. Yeah, it pretty much has been grabbed. Unless there's even more overlapping. Okay, not really. And this most likely has been mitigated. It has. Yeah, so nothing really holding price, to be fair. Session-wise, we've taken out Asia high. Asia low is here, but it's obviously part of our. It's part of our third tap. So when it is part of our third tap, it's not necessarily a liquidity target because it's part of our Wyckoff model. So we don't have to. I'm not expecting another sweep of this third tap because it is our Asia low. It's part of the model, so we don't need it to be swept again. But what I will look at is a more refined demand POI for a pullback perspective. From a pullback perspective, is that valid? Inside bar candle, so no. That's obviously all been mitigated. Yeah, we'll see. Look, if we can get a pullback in here, creating that return to zone and extended fourth tap, and a clean break of structure with a clean return to zone, I'm willing to trade this as an extended fourth tap. So we will see. But for now, it aligns really nicely with our context. We haven't swept the range high as much as we have swept all this liquidity, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah, we kind of have swept extreme liquidity, so that's just something to be aware of. But yeah, let's just see how we pull back into this demand zone. Should we do that? Because yeah, there is a lot of demand below. Okay. Yeah, context is good. Everything else looks pretty good. So there's not a whole lot more things that I'm willing to do for USD JPY. Let's have a look at GBP JPY. Yeah, so we had this model. Damn. We had this model. I'm trying to think. What was I doing? Okay. This is valid. Very valid. So yeah, so we had this, which aligned perfectly with our perfect model, aligned with our context beautifully. I think all I was doing was looking for an extended. I'm honestly gonna have to watch back yesterday's market check and see as to why I didn't trade this, and see what my thought process was. I think just based on this, I think my thought process would have just been that this move was just too aggressive on the way down. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. And then I think when we broke structure, it was right before I was going to bed, and I was like, you know what, I'm not entering this. This is just from memory. Okay, not necessarily. Maybe I just wasn't on the charts at the time we broke structure. Because yeah, like looking at this, there isn't really any supply, but the return to zone, at least coming into this third and final tap, is pretty non-existent and pretty aggressive. So that's probably what I was doing. And then obviously we would have entered. Yeah, so I think what happened was we SFP'd the 45 minutes. I'm gonna have to rewatch this and just figure out what my thought process was, but I think we would have SFP'd the 45 minute, and I would have seen that we SFP'd the 45 minute. Therefore, I was most likely expecting a return back down. And obviously, these were my two POIs, somewhat of a demand here, and then this extreme liquidity. So, pretty sure my thought process would have just been, I think my thought process would have been, I'm not gonna chase this and enter late after missing the break of structure. All I'm gonna do is wait. If we can get a confirmation post liquidity sweep and or demand mitigation, then we'll enter, but I'm not going to rush into this. And yeah, price never came down, never gave me the confirmation, so therefore I didn't enter. I reckon that's what my thought process was. You can rewatch this for yourselves. I'm going to rewatch this for myself after yesterday just to see what my thought process was. Because yeah, it's quite interesting to see what I was thinking. I'm just going to write this down in my notes. Rewatch. Yeah, I reckon I've hit the nail on the head there, but we'll double check. Rewatch GBP JPY analysis from yesterday, 29th of the 7th. Perfect. Well, it'll be interesting to see what my thought process was, but I reckon that was it. Too aggressive into the third tap. We SFP'd the 45 minutes, so I was expecting a return back down, but we ended up getting a continuation. Yeah, and pretty much a range completion. So we'll leave this as is, let price develop after completing the range, and we will move on. USD CAD. Well, as much as yesterday we were fairly bullish. I reckon we've definitely changed to somewhat bearish now. Okay. Let's have a look what the daily's doing as well. Okay, so daily's obviously still bullish. That is fine. Nothing has really changed there. Well, the 4 hour is obviously bearish now, as we can see, and then so is the hourly probably. I don't think there are really any POIs for any sort of entries at the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this as is, not a whole lot to do just yet. So let's be patient on that regard. Let's move on. GBP USD. We have ran through supply here. Still haven't taken out the naked low, so just an FYI there, guys. Just an FYI. We do have a naked low here. But we do have some demand created. And we are quite bullish at the moment. Let's see if we're bullish on the 4 hour at all. This is valid structure, but we don't have 2 consecutive bearish candles. But here even here we didn't have 2 consecutive. Here we don't have 2 consecutive bullish candles, so this is not a valid structure. It's just a straight move down. Because yeah, this is an inside bar candle. Oh, it's not an inside bar candle, it's an in-between candle. You got bullish, bearish, bullish. So yeah, structurally, if I was to explain it to you, starting from like up there, this is our valid structure. Boom. Not here, not here, all the way down. Boom. So obviously with this being our... Yeah, and then here we didn't get a 2 bearish candles. So for me to draw the market structure, starting from, I have to start it from here. Boom, 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 boom. This is our 4 hour market structure. So we are still bearish, as you can see, and we're just making lower highs and lower lows. We have not broken this high here. Hope that was easy for you to understand. And that's why we're still bearish on the 4 and we are bullish on the hourly. Not a whole lot to do at the moment. I need to see more structure. Plain and simple. We've got liquidity here. Nice liquidity. So we'll see if that gets grabbed. Is this 30-minute liquidity? It might be actually. Yeah, valid 30-minute liquidity. I allow that. So we'll see if this develops as a range later on. It may not. Still early days. Yeah, still early days. All right, USD CHF we are on to next. Yeah, still bearish on the 2. We might be bearish on the 4 now. Could be wrong. Okay, still. That might not be valid structure. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's, yeah. That's so like hard to see. That is our 4 hourly low, which we have not broken. So still bullish on the fall. We've got somewhat of a supply block. We're going to zoom in and see just how clean this really is. Yeah, looks like valid structure supply to me. Okay, so that's why it's always good to zoom in. It has been mitigated, but we have created the overlapping effect, and the overlapping effect has been mitigated thus far. Kind of early days, but maybe we get a little scalp here. We'll see. We'll see. If we're going to get something like this, bum, 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 I would be actually willing to take a little cheeky scalp here. Not the highest confluence play, but we do have a few confluences aligning. Asia low is intact. We're bearish in the low time frame, so yeah, we can get a little low time frame scalp here. We'll see. It's not, yeah, it's like borderline a confirm range, not even, so this is still a while away from getting any sort of confirmations. That is USD CHF. All right, not a whole lot more to do here. And ZD CAD. Not a fan of this range at the moment. Yeah, we're bullish still on the hourly. Still bearish, so yeah, contextually nothing has really changed here. Given so, I'm willing to look at this as a potential range. It is too market structure like at the moment, but let's just see how it plays out. It's one of those ranges where it kind of looks better on the lower time frame as opposed to the higher time frame. So yeah, if we can get something like this, I'm willing to potentially trade it, but we'll see. We will see. That is valid liquidity. Yeah, just not a whole lot to do at the moment. Let's just be patient. I think we do have some demand as well. So that's obviously going to need to be monitored with the ever so slightest of front runs. Oh no, it's been ever so slightly mitigated, but just because it's been tapped, it's like can still be used as a valid block, especially if it's backed by any volume area low or high. But I think our volume tool still does not work. Okay, it does. Yeah, backed by volume area low, so you just kind of have to be a little bit cautious there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll leave that as is. For NZD CAD, I'll put another alert there. Was there anything that I need to shift to the top? Not really, eh? Yeah, technically this is our most likely option for a potential entry, which is already at the top. Euro USD. Funnily enough, we got the confirmation there, guys. Funnily enough, eh? Which was yesterday. But yeah, there just was a bit more reason for us to go lower. Deeper mitigation. We're a bit too, yeah, we're too deep into the range. Like, you wouldn't really enter here. That's why I didn't enter. I just wanted a deeper mitigation. Plain and simple. And if you were to get an entry in here, maybe you would have gotten something actually. Yeah, realistically, you could have. Yeah, you wouldn't have really had the best entry. It would have had to be here. This would have been your first entry. Not the best, not the, decent. You know what? Decent, 3.32, but would have been pretty stressed in this pullback, eh? But yeah, it's too deep for me to ever enter there. Like, that's why I always say you want to enter with confidence. You don't want to enter and be like, fuck, am I doubting myself? Have I, done the wrong move? Should I have not entered? This could have just been one of those chances of you entering incorrectly and getting a bit lucky and then thinking, oh, I can keep doing this because I bet you the next time you do this, or more often than not, you'll see price go deeper before moving up and maybe grabbing some of the liquidity and then pushing up. So yeah, this is just one of those lucky moments, not necessarily a well executed setup. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to have sat on my hands. And ZDCAT, let me just quickly jump to it. Okay, we've just deviated our tap one. All right, so in terms of Euro USD, obviously we are quite bullish on the hourly. On the 4 hour, I'd like to think we're bullish by now. Yep, bullish on the 4, probably still bearish on the daily, maybe. Yeah, still bearish on the day, so yeah, we're just bullish on the hour and the 4. Got a few demand POIs here. This is obviously our main one. We've also got some more refined demand below. Well, lo and behold, this has been mitigated on the lower time frame, but we might get some overlapping structure. There it is. Valid overlapping market structure there. And we're actively leaving behind liquidity as well. Yeah, at the moment, just be patient. Not a whole lot to do. We might be able to draw a range from here. Distribution range. Something like that. Boom. And that just continues the, the bearish downtrend. So we will see. You know what? I may as well do it now. Yeah, we can look at this as a range. GBP, JPY. Maybe I would like some of this demand mitigated at least. At least some of it. Okay, that is Euro USD. Let's see what GBP JPY is doing. Okay, that's probably completed. Euro GBP. A weekly open still 8. Still target. Still bullish on the 4-hour. Still bullish on the hour. Daily is still bearish. Okay. We've also mitigated all demand that was to be mitigated. Yeah, not a whole lot to do at the moment. Just be patient and let this price action play out, really. That's all I can say. Yeah. Not much going on at the moment. AUD, CAD, let's have a look at that. Well, we are bullish on the higher time frame. So you could potentially look at this as a range. It's not the cleanest. It just isn't. It's just not the cleanest range. We've had a lot cleaner ranges on here. But it is a range. Contextually. Yeah, and contextually as well, nothing has really changed here. There's supply bar here. I wouldn't really be looking to trade anything at the moment from AUD CAD. Just let this price action play out. It's not the best. Yeah. We'll move on. AUD USD. Alright, let's clean all of this up. That looks better. We might be bullish now, I reckon. Yep, bullish on the hour. Probably still bearish on the 4. Yes. Still bearish on the 4. But obviously bullish on the hour. No real demand POIs here. And we're still bearish across everything else, so what I anticipate is a potential distribution from like here. Still far off it, but a long way away, but we'll see. Like that, boom. Yeah, we get something like this. But as I have said, we are a long way away from that. And then yeah, there's like a bit of liquidity here, so just something to be aware of. This is some decent liquidity. But yeah, a lot more needs to happen for this in this range at the moment. So it is still early days. Asia high and low have been taken. Yeah, not a whole lot to do just yet. Let's be patient. GBP AUD. Yeah, still bullish on the hourly. I'm going to assume we're now bullish on the 4. Yeah, valid bullish on the 4 as well. Bullish on the daily, are we? No, not yet. Not yet. Okay, so bullish on the... Oh, sorry, daily already was. Yeah, what am I talking about? Okay. And then weekly wasn't from memory. Yes, correct. Okay, interesting. So we are starting to see a shift here. A little bullish sentiment shift. I will double check USD CHF in a minute. Okay, so at the moment, honestly, not a whole lot I'm interested in doing. We have just shifted to bullish. I would much prefer to start coming down and creating some sort of, you know, accumulative range in here, which we can then long. But yeah, not a whole lot I'm expecting for the time being. We've also pushed through supply, so definitely showing signs of strength there. And my computer's not charging. Give me a second. All right, saved. Boom. Okay, that is GBPAD. Not a whole lot to do. Patience is the game. Let's see what USD CHF is saying. Okay, and there goes our little range here. All right, GBP and ZD. Yeah, model completed itself, actually. Very, very messy. Would not have taken this, but it is a complete model. Probably still bearish on the 4, I would assume. I don't see why we would be bullish. Yeah, still bearish on the 4. And for now, we're still bullish on the alley, but ever so slightly. Yeah, I'd rather just watch this higher time frame range play out. I wouldn't really rush to try and short along anything at the moment. Yeah, just not a whole lot to work with. Let's check oil. Okay, demand is being mitigated. Are we going to start moving back up? We will see. We will see. If we start moving back up now, that would be great, but nothing is confirmed. Yeah, everything still looks pretty bearish here. It might even be bearish on the day. Okay, no. Not on the daily. Daily is still bullish. So yeah, high time frame, daily really is still bullish. Weekly's obviously bearish. But yeah, not a whole lot to work with here, so I would just be leaving this as is. I wouldn't be trying to, yeah, I wouldn't be trying to extract anything. Would not be trying to extract any sort of urine here. If you know, you know, guys. If you know, you know. I would not be trying to extract any sort of urine. But this looks okay, to be honest. Yes, it's a explosive move, but let's have a look. But yeah, it's one of those ones where we've just come straight back down. No, you know what? It's not clean, but we have come back down. I will assess this later down the track. It's not the cleanest. Definitely the cleanest range. Let's be honest with ourselves here, guys. It's really not that clean. This might not even be valid supply, to be honest. Yeah, it's not really that clean. This has been mitigated. Yeah, there's just nothing. There's already too many things going against it. This is the perfect example of us trying to extract the urine, as I was saying earlier, trying to make something out of what should be nothing. There shouldn't be really a reason to trade this model, but we're trying to extract the urine here, which is what we should not be trying to do. So leave this as is. It's a fairly neutral context anyway. A lot of things can go wrong here, so I would just be leaving this as is. And yeah, that concludes today's Forex check. To sum it up, a lot of pairs are just kind of ranging, so we don't really want to try and force anything. I'm not going to repeat the phrase again, but if you know, you know. Yeah, potentially something later on in Euro USD. Where's my yeah, here it is. It's like it's a high time frame range, but it's kind of counter context. As you can see, high time frame context is bearish, so same thing. This is sort of similar. You just need better range developments. Same thing, GBP USD just needs a lot more time. Nothing going on here. This has completed itself. You know, we had our confirmations, but we didn't. We waited for our confirmations, but they never came. And then the only thing, yeah, I'm looking for at the moment is a pullback for USD JPY, which we might get. Sentiment is still bullish, so we can allow ourselves a trade here. And as I've said, as much as the Asia low is here, it's part of our model. It's part of our tab 3, so it's not a liquidity target. So we don't need to focus on our Asia low. Yeah, let's see if we can get a pullback in here. And then with commodities, gold is just ranging, and then we have, I think, a potential range on silver from memory. No, okay, nothing on silver, and it's just that oil. Yeah, so silver, I'm looking for a model 1 here. And then oil, I'm looking for us to bounce off this demand and start moving into this extreme liquidity POI. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening, viewing. Subscribe if you have made it this far, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace.